see if anybody's signed up.
I
You can do it. I don't mind. They still may yet.
Well, yeah, well,
They,
The population committee wants to meet.
what's that?
The population.
Yeah.
They want to update on what they're doing. And they couldn't make
so
this.
Jesse, keep sending those emails to me.
Fast.
I read them.
Cool. I'm glad. I want to schedule a special.
Glad nobody.
Yeah, I gotta get them back to you. Let me know. I actually drove down there today. and looked at that property.
You know, she had requested you seen me demolish it when she bought the property, but so that was denied.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Harpers Ferry Town Council meeting. I'm going to call the meeting officially to order at 7 p.m., April 13, 2026. Council, according to code, we can't go any further in the meeting without designating someone to take notes, et cetera, since the recorder will not be here. I'm going to suggest that we put two people on the floor to nominate, and that would be the lead would be Storm and backed up by Chris. So I would need a motion and a second. We have a motion from Jesse. We have a second from David. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion. Motion carries 6-0. Now, would you please stand for the pledge? I moved the flag over here just to confuse everybody tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have a seat. A motion to approve the agenda.
Do we need to move the one item that possibly involves employees?
Yeah, let's wait until we get there, and then if we can still go into executive session and move it at the end.
So I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Is there a second on the motion? Second, Christian, discussion. All those in favor of the motion, opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Proclamation Night.
What does that mean?
That's we'll just move on. Public comments. Do we have any, Storm?
There are two public
Okay,
comments.
would you call the public and then be the timekeeper also?
Yes. First comment is Zach Morris. It does not indicate what agenda item.
Well, D2 and E1, which we'll talk about later. But good evening, Council. While the room is more full than it might be by the time we get there, I wanted to announce for D2, Planning Commission has a final draft of the comprehensive plan that's going to a Planning Commission public hearing the end of the month on Thursday, April 30th. So for anyone in the audience, if you're interested in participating, April 30th. And then for E1, Arbor Day, Tree Commission will be celebrating Arbor Day also towards the end of the month, on the 25th, which is a Saturday. There'll be a tree planting by the end of Fillmore Street by the Harper Cemetery. So if you feel like celebrating, especially if the weather's nice, come help us plant the tree.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks.
And we have one other comment. Jenny Thacker.
Hi, this isn't so much a comment, it's just a chance to introduce myself. My name is Jenny Thacker. I'm running for the House of Delegates, which covers this district, District 100. It goes from Shepherdstown all the way to Shannondale, and we have so many people on the extremes in both directions that I am running for practical things in the middle, like fixing the roads, working on paying the teachers, stopping the worst of the damage from the data centers, things like that. And I am open to listening to any suggestions of practical things that we need to fix at state level. So I have brochures and things if anyone's interested, but absolutely don't have to take them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it, Storm? Okay. Thank you. Mayor's comments. I just have two brief ones. I'll be meeting with Tanya Wednesday?
I think so.
Yeah, Wednesday in the afternoon. And Tanya will just have some preliminary discussions about getting ready for our holidays coming up. And is there anything that we can do in parking and law enforcement that needs, some adjusting from years past? So Tanya and I will be sitting down and discussing both parameters, my parameter from HFPD and the superintendent's from the National Park Service Ranger Corps. So thank you for the willing to meet on that, Superintendent. The other thing I just want to briefly report is that a week ago, Tuesday, was it Tuesday? Yeah, a week ago Tuesday, had the opportunity to meet with Senator Shelley Moore Capito in this room. Accompanying me was Debbie and Patty and Kathy and Steve and Jesse. The senator brought a contingent, I believe, of 5 or 6 people, and the heavy hitters was the Director of Appropriations, Thompson Moore, and her Director of Legislation, and her Director of the Martinsburg office, Chris Strobel. And I will tell you that it was, I felt from my perspective, a very positive, a very successful meeting with the senator. We discussed our CDS, congressionally directed spending. We discussed the help that the senator has provided us in the millions in the past year, and the fact that we've got I think a wonderful opportunity to acquire 6.3 million more for the fiscal 27, or we do have that. Yeah, and then the 27 is 4 point something, 4.3, is that what it was?
Right, 27 is 6.3 and 28 will be 4.
Okay, I knew that. So with that said, with what Debbie just said, let me just say that the success, I believe, of that meeting and the success of us acquiring CDS is a direct result of right there. We couldn't be luckier to have a finance officer in the makes of Debbie Kelly. She produced a briefing document for Senator Capito with very, very little time that I gave her to put it together in less than 24 hours, and she put it together. And then Debbie, the senator sat here, and I sat there, and Debbie sat there, and she had a beautiful display over there. And then when I turned the program over to Debbie to brief specifically on our needs, Debbie went up there, and if you, obviously most of you missed that, but what you did miss was an excellent presentation by a town employee of a town of 289 or whatever we are. Debbie, I want to thank you for everything that you did in putting this together, and your professionalism, and our success was a total direct result of all your hard work. Not many people know what goes into a CDS like you and I, and probably Storm and maybe Chris and Jesse. It's an awful lot of work in their council, and she does a masterful job, and thank you so much, Dave. You want to say anything for Kevin?
I wouldn't dare.
Chris, community announcements. Do you have one before I turn to the superintendent?
Yeah, 3 upcoming things that I wanted to let folks know about. April 24th through 26th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the flip-flop kickoff will be coming back to Harpers Ferry. And we're going to be hosting a number of through hikers starting their through hike on the Appalachian Trail here in Harpers Ferry. They'll be heading north and then coming back later in the year to do their southbound journey. So a lot of the, I encourage everyone to look at the beautiful pictures and to look at the schedule at flipflopkickoff.org. But the things that might interest the public in general would be there's a reception at ATC on Friday evening. 4:30, I believe, where you'll get to meet the new director of ATC. And then Sunday morning, I hope everyone will show up at Camp Hill Church for a big pancake feed. We're going to serve everyone pancakes between 7:30 and 9, and then at 8:30 we'll see the flip-floppers out the door and send them on their long journey. Also wanted to mention, especially to the council members and the mayor, that on May 13th, the monthly meeting of the Canal Town Partnership will be here in Harpers Ferry. We'll be at the John Brown Museum in Lower Town, and the Canal Town Partnership always has representatives from towns up and down the C&O, and so it's kind of an interesting way to find out what's happening in our sister communities along the canal. At the end of that meeting, which is 10 to noon, if things are on schedule with the Byron Bridge, I'm hoping to have us all leave the meeting and walk over to the bridge for a little ribbon cutting and some remarks from key people about that, and then we'll walk to the other end of the bridge and try out the new ramp staircase. If the work is delayed, we may go over and admire the work happening from afar. So anyway, you're all invited to that. Also wanted to mention on May 2nd, at San Michael Park, there is a kite day sponsored by County Parks and Rec, and the Elk Run Watershed Group, of which we are a key part of, will be having activities to educate and celebrate our watershed that provides us our drinking water here in Harpers Ferry Bolivar, as well as a lot of other people in the county. And we're working on a possible little talk about rain gardens. There is a rain garden there at the Recreation Center. I'm working with someone from PVAS to do a little watershed walk. Most things will be family friendly, so anyone who's able to get out there, and we might be in the market for some new some additional volunteers to help out at that event as well. So anyway.
Thank you, Chris. Superintendent.
Evening, council. All right, I've got a few this evening for you. First, Mayor Vaughn, council member of Petroconis, really want to thank you for your participation in last month's successful parking summit. Understanding more about the town's concerns related to visitor parking and vehicle circulation is really important for the Park Service to hear. It's also, I think, very important for the other stakeholders to understand. And we look forward to following up on several of the action items that came out of the summit with you in September. I am very pleased to report that the National Park Service now has a new direct hiring authority for local applicants. We plan to announce, the park plans to announce a number of 9-month seasonal positions shortly. The goal is to recruit qualified people who live within 60 miles of my office, right, at headquarters. The new hiring authority is designed to make the review and hiring process faster and more streamlined than the standard federal approach to these things. And we hope to make those announcements soon, and I really encourage everyone, we will share them with the towns, and really would appreciate it if, when you receive them, if you know of folks who are interested in seasonal employment with the park, please let them know, share it, pass it along. We'd appreciate it. This just in early May, so in just a few weeks, the National Park Service will begin implementing a grasslands rehabilitation project. Treatment areas here in Harpers Ferry will include Lower Bolivar Heights and Nash Farm. The project looks to eradicate invasive species of plants in our grasslands and reseed with native plants that will improve biodiversity. When the contractors are on site, we will need to close trails in those areas for 4 to 8 hours. We ask the public to refrain from entering those closed management areas for their health and safety. Once we have clarity about scheduling, which I do not yet have, the park will send email notifications to the town and to the town of Bolivar prior to the start of those operations. If you have questions or concerns, please let me know so we can address them in the notifications. So this is a very dynamic situation. This is not a park. This is far above my head in terms of the funding and the coordination of this project. This is something that the National Park Service has been working on all the way from Tennessee to Maine to improve grasslands all the way up the coast within our parks. Harpers Ferry is just one of those parks. There will have to be some mowing of fields first, and then there will be herbicide treatments. So if you have questions about that, please let me know, like this week, because it could be as early as May 1st that we will start to see the contractors out in our fields. It's very dynamic, and I wish I could give you more clear timeframes, but at this moment I cannot do that. And then finally, as Council Member Craig was just speaking about, the Byron Bridge. The current estimates that I have from our friends across the river are the temporary stairs and the removal of the temporary stairs and the reactivation of the shuttle service from the visitor center to the canal could take place as early as the 11th of May or somewhere in that time frame, mid-May. And they do expect that once they take those temporary stairs out, it'll be 3 or 4 weeks of shuttle service before the permanent staircase is installed. And I would just encourage everyone to continue to keep an eye on CNO's webpage for the official details, because again, CNO is the park, it's their project. We're just the sort of neighbor park that is working with them on that. So they are in charge of the project. All right, so I've got.
Anybody have any questions for the superintendent? Chris?
Sure. Just a comment. I think it was just last month you announced about the tree removal for the view at Jefferson Rock. I just led a group of hikers up there this weekend, and the view is magnificent. Thank you for your work there.
Absolutely. You're very welcome.
Anything else? Thank you, Superintendent.
Yeah.
All right, item number 4, approval of minutes. I believe we just have one, and that is February 9. February 9.
Motion to approve the minutes is submitted.
Is there a second? Second, Christian, discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Special presentations, discussion and action regarding county child care needs presented by JCDA. I don't know who's going to be presenting this, but I would appreciate if you could keep it to about 5 minutes because we have a very lengthy agenda.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm Darrell Coles. Council, thank you for allowing us to be here. I am the new Jefferson County Development Authority Director. But although I'm not too far from here, Berkeley Springs is home for me, and I've been involved in local governments and economic development and state government for 20 to 30 years. So I'm familiar with Jefferson County, but I have with me Hunter Mize here tonight, and he is a fellow with us over at Jefferson County's Development Authority on loan from Shepherd University. And there's a child care study, and we came to talk about child care issues and the struggles families are having, especially here in Harpers Ferry, but all across Jefferson County. And Hunter's updated a study that was done a couple years ago to highlight some of those things, but we're here to talk about that issue and ask for your help. Jefferson County struggles with child care issues. It is a workforce issue, and that's why the Development Authority is here to talk about it, and it's high on our list. It has a real effect on families, on children, on home budgets. That's the micro view, but on the macro view, it has a real impact on workforce, the economy, workforce participation, And there are some, there's information that's out there now that Hunter's going to share with you, but there are solutions and options that we'd like to have you guys get engaged in. And the YMCA out of Frederick is suggesting and promoting a way to get their nonprofit, and they are looking at a building on Shepherd University's campus to maybe expand the options that you would have or families would have for childcare in Jefferson County. And there will be soon, there'll be a capital campaign to try to raise some funds to remodel a building over there and do just that. And we would need your help, and we're asking you to be engaged on that issue and let your constituents know that that's an issue that you hear and you know you want to help with. The Jefferson County Commission is soon going to consider a resolution highlighting some of those things, and I would love to get a draft in your hands for you guys to consider soon. It would also be nice to have a contact that we could work with, engage with, and maybe share some information from the YMCA about their plan, what they want to do, and share the capital if there's money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to donate money, but certainly be engaged and help us get the word out and help folks in Jefferson County. But I'll turn it over to Hunter and let him share with you some of the specific findings he found with the updated study on child care in Jefferson County. And I do have a business card that I can get whoever's taking notes. But I'll turn it over to Hunter. Mayor, thank you for having us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to make.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. And thank you, Daryl, for that lovely introduction. My name is Hunter Mize. I'm a sophomore at Shepherd University. I've been a fellow of JCDA since January. And Eddie Benitez had put me in charge of the study. We were going to update the study from 2023, as Daryl had said. I went through, completed the study, called up about 52 child care facilities. Out of the 52, 17 decided to participate. And what I found, the main number, is that currently there is about a 13-month waiting period on average for a child to be accepted into a child care facility. That is causing parents to either send in applications even before the child is born, or seek child care in other counties such as Berkeley County, County, Frederick County. And so what we want to do is make childcare more accessible within Jefferson County. There is a huge need for it in such a growing county and such little resources to be able to do that. We need to focus our minds on this. And right now, I think this is an important number to tell you all here in Harpers Ferry, in the 25425 area code, that right now, y'all have the longest average wait time of a year and 5 months for childcare. And we take that very seriously. It's a huge problem here in Jefferson County, and we want to help solve that. And the YMCA also wants to help solve that. And if you work with us and work with them, we believe that we can help solve this problem. So thank you for your time. And as well, any questions?
Daryl, you and I, I'll send you an email, and then you and I can talk. Maybe assigning someone to work with you or something to that effect.
Yep, that'd be outstanding.
Okay, so I'll send you something tomorrow, or no, I can't do it tomorrow. Wednesday or Thursday. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Any other questions from the council?
We're
David?
in Shelburne. Are you thinking of doing this? What's the area?
You know, I believe there's it's the old cafeteria.
Yeah, that's the old dining hall.
The old dining.
Yeah.
So it's going to need some renovations, which is the amount of money, the capital outlay that they need to come up with. Some of that is still not quite yet in focus.
Yep.
But I have a contact and some good folks at YMCA that have been over, and they presented to the JCDA last month. So we do have some good information. If you'd like to put it on a future agenda, we can certainly bring those YMCA folks in to see you. But we can work in a small group first, Mayor, and bring it to council as needed.
Okay.
It is a serious workforce issue for Jefferson County Development Authority, and we're going to try to tackle it. And appreciate your help and support.
Thank you.
I would also like to make note real quick of the estimated figure that the YMCA has. It's updated. I think it's around $900,000 to remodel the old dining hall for it to be usable as a child care facility.
We have our work cut out for us.
Yep, you do. That's all right. One step at a time.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Appreciate it. Presentation by the Harpers Ferry Bolivar Historic Town Foundation regarding an update on the first sign project. Ed, if you could also limit it, if you could, to about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yep, I'm Ed Wheelis, Executive Director of the Historic Town Foundation. And since we're asking for more money this year, I thought to give you a brief update on what we've accomplished and what we're doing. So this is the church in 2017 when we bought it. You can see the roof. Yep. I think I can talk through it anyway. The roof is failing. The front shingles were broken, missing. Bats and birds were getting in. The foundation walls were compromised and leaking. Jesse did a great job of going in and taking out the carpet and a lot of bird poop, but we soon realized there was about 8,000 pounds more of it in the attic. So one of our first big projects was to bring in the pros to deal with that. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there, over there to the left, Yep. You're, no, go a little, two over. Keep going, to your right,
Thank you.
to your right.
Thanks, Darrell.
There you go.
So we can advance the next one.
Got it, okay. All right, so you ready for the next one?
Yep. So this is phase one. We've worked on the exterior. We've got a new roof, a new slate shingles. The foundation has been repointed and will soon be whitewashed again to restore the historic appearance of the church. We have new gutters. So phase one is largely complete, and we're excited about that. We can move on. Since 2017, the foundation has invested over $362,000 in the restoration of the building. About half of that's from grants, about a third from membership and donations, 12% from fundraising, and 7% from Harpers Ferry. And we're very grateful for that. Move on. Okay, so as a little background, in 2024, we did a survey of town residents to find out what they would want at a community center. The Mills Group provided these nice concept renderings pro bono, and we held the charrette, which is pictured here, to solicit more feedback in advance. And the project satisfies two of the objectives from the current or 2013 comprehensive plan. One was to support the foundation's efforts to protect the town's historic resources, and the objective to work to acquire space for a town museum and a community center. So we feel like the foundation is kind of doing that work to achieve those goals. The BZA has approved our conditional use permit to repurpose the building as a community center, and we're thankful for that. Phase two, which will begin soon, is interior work on the ground level of the basement. This will be, the main entrance will be on the basement level for accessibility. There'll be an open room for small meetings, an exhibit area, a reception area. So we hope to have interpretive signage there about the African American community that built First Zion and the Wesley Church, which we've now lost. And this is where the bathrooms, mechanicals room, and a small kitchen will be. And then you'll ascend the stairway to go upstairs to the performance hall, and there'll be a small elevator lift for handicapped accessibility. So we can advance to the next slide. So phase three would be the interior of the sanctuary, which will be the main hall or performance space for meetings or performing arts.
1 minute.
Sorry?
1 minute remaining.
Okay, thanks. So a versatile space for the community in the last slide. This is a rendering of the concept. On the exterior, which would be phase four, the last to build potentially a picnic pavilion and off-street parking and a retaining wall along the front. That hasn't been permitted or even considered, and will be long-range funding if we get there. So, any questions?
Awesome. Anything?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, Ed. Thank you.
Very good.
Discussion action regarding that proclamation to declare International Dark Sky Week 2026. Roberta?
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I noticed, Roberta, that, you guys, spoke to Bolivar a week or so ago, and they sent out their dark sky proclamation and a special email just about it. And I want to congratulate you guys for getting other people to listen too. That's a big deal, you know, so well done.
And thank you, Jeffrey, that's what we're all about. Mayor Vaughn, Town Council, staff, members of the public, thank you again for placing us on the agenda this evening. Dark Sky 2026 theme this year is Go Dark. We have been working with the Bolivar Harpers Ferry Library. They already have a kiosk set up of a very fine selection of reading material. And we are going to do a display of posters and awareness posters, one of them being how to interpret dark sky and light pollution in multiple languages. Again, Dark Sky International is celebrated around the globe annually about this time. And we, your Dark Sky Bolivar Harpers Ferry chapter, and again, we are still proud to say we are the only chapter of West Virginia. We are the first Dark Sky chapter in the state. And we are here to help you be aware, help you educate yourself about what light pollution is, how you can help reduce light pollution, sky glow, and light trespass, and also learn about the 5 principles of dark sky lighting. What those principles are very simple. In fact, you have now 2 houses that are certified dark sky compliant in Harpers Ferry. I had a meeting the other day with the resident for your house number 3. All we have to do is change 1 light. They will be dark sky compliant, and I will submit them. You will have 3 houses in Harpers Ferry that are dark sky compliant. It is very simple. We just ask 5 questions. Is the light being used useful? Is it targeted to where it needs to be used? Is it targeted down, not trespassing your neighbors? Is the light level low? In other words, we want you to use light bulbs that are in the 2900 to 3000 or less Kelvin. There's a really cool light bulb that I found in Lowe's. You can actually turn it down. It's built into the light bulb already. Very cool. Is it controlled? Are the lights controlled? Simply turning on and off the light is considered controlled. Putting it on a timer or motion sensors is considered controlled. And again, the warm light option. I will leave you with these principles, and I will also leave you with dark sky tourism, which is being promoted heavily by West Virginia Tourism. Dark Sky International has a program where your B&Bs, your lodging can become dark sky compliant. How easy is it? We, as a chapter, can come in. We, as dark sky advocates around the state and across the globe, can come into these locations and do an evaluation. And we do the same thing. We look at what is going on with the lights. How can we dial down the lights? How can we control the lights with motion sensors or shield the lights so that this light does not go up into the sky and create sky glow? Again, I welcome you to the Bolivar Harpers Ferry Library. We are going to have, again, posters and information on how to get to books. I'm going to leave the town with a reading list, and we'll also have that same reading list at the Dark Sky exhibit at the library. I'm going to direct you to darkskyinternational.org, darksky.org, the chapter. How can you celebrate Dark Sky International yourselves? From the comfort of your home. You don't even have to leave your couch. You can go virtually. There are events across the globe where you can join and register, and those are located on darksky.org. Just go to Dark Sky 2026 and look up events. You register on the website. There's brew pubs around the world that are taking place. There's astro tourism events. In fact, Green Bank right here in West Virginia is planning events as well. So I encourage you to be involved or to take part in those events. Very fun. So what we have done.
1 minute.
Okay, and the proclamation, I want to let you know that you are, if you decide to do this proclamation tonight, you will be joined by Maryland, Virginia, and hot off the press this evening, we understand Governor Morrissey has declared Dark Sky International for the state of West Virginia. So I would be very proud if our little town of Harpers Ferry joins the multiple states, joins the globe, and celebrates Dark Sky International April 13th through April 20th, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, it's the 5 principles: useful,
Yes.
targeted, low level, controlled. One color, thank you.
When the chapter comes to look at someone's house or, bed and breakfast, is there a cost to that?
No, it's not. It's purely, complimentary.
Okay.
Took me about 30 minutes, to do my house, and 30 minutes to do this resident's home.
Okay.
And we are searching for the alternate light fixture for her. And then we've offered to, do that for her because she's, physically challenged. And, again, just courtesy, and we'll return that paperwork in and get a certificate from Dark Sky International.
Okay, Council, you all have a copy of the proclamation. I'll entertain a motion to approve the proclamation.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Second from Jesse, discussion. Excuse me, all those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, motion carries 6-0. I will endorse this.
Thank you, Town Council.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patty. Discussion action regarding resolution to accept the donation of real property. Patty's been working very hard on this along with Ken Sayer. And Patty, could you brief us on this whole, and you brought a copy of the properties too.
So these are 4 lots that are landlocked, and they're down in the gully, what's that side street?
Zachary Taylor?
Dr. Joe. It's down on the Taylor. So if you were on East Ridge to West Ridge, you'd go down and you'd see them down in there. I have a map. And this gentleman has been trying to sell these lots for quite some time. And because they are inaccessible, he has decided that he would like to give them to the town and get tax on that. So the town attorney wrote up a resolution for the Corporation of Harpers Ferry to accept the donation of real property. That was in your packet. It lists the 4 lots. If everyone's in agreement, once the mayor signs it and the recorder signs it, then Ken Sayer will prepare the deed, and then we'll go get that recorded at the courthouse.
Move to adopt the resolution to accept the donation of real property as presented for, to be prepared by the mayor for signature.
Thank you, Storm. We have a second from Chris. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Patty.
Is there any, I'm great with this. Anything the town's thinking about possibly using the property for, like for trail, expand the trail down that?
Well, Patty, there's several other town lots. They're not contiguous to that.
If you go on viewer and you click all around it, you'll see that the town
Yeah.
does own several lots around there. And then immediately abutting Kendall. In Kendall.
Yeah, I'm just saying, are they walkable to make into possible trail use? Or?
Not, most of it not. I think the primary use for it is going to be to protect our watershed and natural habitat. It's a great opportunity that I'm really excited about, and I hope, along with the legal acceptance of the property, that we can express our thanks to the property.
That's a neat spot there, that whole little gully. It's its own little world down there. We play down there a lot. It's nice. It'll be good to be able to protect it for everybody.
Who is the second?
Chris.
Thank you.
Is this the area behind the snail?
Yeah, it's down that.
Well, it's more.
Or if you go from the town park down the trail
Behind
Adam's house. Yeah, that's fine.
Once it becomes final, I will send a letter to Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Landmarks. Wayne had a.
We have a little statement here that they met and that they looked at 2 new home construction plans. They have not signed off on either one of them at this moment. They are still working on some new initiatives, and I'm going to read this.
Thanks, Patty. Dark skies, Karen?
First of all, we'd like to thank everybody for the public comments as well as the recommendations and comments and feedback from town council that helped guide the committee on some of the clarifying information I'm going to provide for you tonight. Section 7, which pertains to the lighting plan beginning on page 4 of the draft ordinance, is already enforced as an ordinance. So we were not able to go ahead and change any of that. That is ordinance 1303.04. It's currently being applied to new builds. The last 6 new build permits that have been approved have had lighting plans already part of the permitting process without any complications. So the concerns about it being complicated, the concerns about it being cumbersome, I think we can allay those concerns because they're already going through as lighting plans. So we did not redo that section, okay? And that is the reason why we did not do that section. The lighting plan consists of 2 parts. One part is a simple listing of all the lights, the number of lights, the types, the lumens, with a tally of the total lumens per square foot. And the second is a drawing, and these don't have to be computer generated. These can be something that's schematics, that they can be something simple. And it just shows the location and the height of lights as well as their proximity to the the property boundaries. And so we can look at things like trespass. The other concern was the permitting process. I want to be really clear. We got together and we looked at our wording. We changed a couple of the words around. The permitting process that we have been prescribed in the draft ordinance does not change the current process. If, however, town council decides that you want us as a standing committee and you want us to be part of that process, that could be something you adopt. But we're not automatically putting ourselves in there, and we're not adding anything to the process and making it any more cumbersome and time consuming than it already is there for folks. The biggest difference is the lights that are being installed on these new builds, the outdoor lights, are required to be shielded and facing downward to mitigate any light trespass, as outlined in the previous sections of the draft ordinance. So that's the biggest change. We're just requiring new builds and builds that have outside lighting changes to fit that bill of being dark sky compliant, and that's going to cut down on our trespass. So when we're looking at this ordinance, it's also just giving an opportunity for our current homeowners to evaluate what they have. It's not requiring them to change anything unless there are violations, unless someone has a complaint of light trespass. So the changes that we made as a committee and we submitted as draft number 3 that you should have is the lumens is the current standard measure of lighting. So there's a part in section 7 where we had foot candle and we put parentheses next to it. It's basically, we put lumens in there. 1 foot candle is equal to 1 lumen per square foot. So we wanted to bring clarity to that. So this is an ordinance that's already enforced. We didn't want to change a whole lot, but we wanted to bring some clarity. We did change the ordinance compliance officer, his title throughout the draft ordinance to code enforcement officer, and the wording concerning the permitting process to reflect the currently employed process. So those are the clarifications we've brought to the table as a committee for the draft 3 that you received. Any questions or comments for me?
Council?
Thank you for revising that and listening to what we have to say.
Absolutely. It was helpful to us.
I'm wondering, as far as the next step, it certainly will need to go to probably ORC for formatting at least, and maybe some more discussion on some particulars. I still have some concerns about that part 7.
Okay.
But I really am enthused about the ordinance overall, and it's certainly its purpose. At this point,
I'll turn it over to ORC.
Could I make a motion?
Yeah.
Send it to the ordinance review committee?
Or second on that, second from Jess. Discussion, all those in favor of the motion, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. somebody read my mind here. Water Commission General Report from the PWA. Steve?
Okay. Let me talk a little bit about production leak rates. I do not have a estimated water loss for this month. We're still looking at some of our billing with the new system. So we're doing some investigation on that side, and so those numbers would not really be all that accurate. However, what I do have is we did look at this is our midnight to 4 a.m. Drop in the tanks, and over the past week, we've been dropping water calculated at an average of 4,400 gallons an hour. This is compared to a year ago, April 24th to 28th, where over that period of time, we were losing water out of the tanks at a rate of 6,000 gallons per hour. So this is a 27% reduction in that rate, and that is largely due to the work that has been done to replace mains and service lines. We were able to provide an estimated 63,000 gallons of water through the fire suppression system, the hydrants, for fire that was in Bolivar over at Potomac Terrace on the 26th of March. Again, I estimated that consumption by looking at our water levels in the tanks that dropped on that day, and compared that to the same time period the following day. I did present that to the Bolivar Town Council last week. The Bolivar Mayor, who is also president of the volunteer fire group, he was very appreciative of the work and support that the waterworks gave. Not only do we provide water, but we also had to be on site to turn the water off to the apartment complex because it's a master meter, and they needed water off as the apartments that were affected in the fire had lost their plumbing, and there was water all over the place. We are working on our personnel vacancies. We've had a couple of setbacks with those early as this morning. However, I have at least one individual lined up who I think we're in the process of finalizing some background checks, but a potential candidate that we might be able to get. I'd probably be calling you folks back together again, get a final approval once we get those background checks, so we could get him basically in the process of filling in some of our vacancies right now. We have 3. Okay.
Any questions for Steve?
Are you advertising again?
We have not some to post an ad, but I think we'll be doing something here because we we've got 3 vacancies, and at this point I have one strong potential. Okay. All right.
We'll get there, Steve.
Yeah. Thank you.
Meter project.
Oh, okay. Deb, do you want to pick that up? Do you give your report? How do you want to do that?
I can update you what I was going to report about that now. Do you want to do it that way?
Or I can coordinate with Deb when she gets her report.
It's coming later sometime.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter when.
so when we get to it.
Okay.
Yep. Mike is not here. Discussion action regarding Drinking Water Week proclamation. Who put this in? Was that you and I worked on this? All right. Go ahead, Patty. Since you.
Application to my office, and I came across the Drinking Water Week, and that is May 3 through 9. this year. So I thought we'd get ahead of the game and find it tonight. You all have it in your packet.
If you want.
Well, I was You're the reader of the proclamation.
Sure, if it's desired.
Next week will be Kiss the Mayor week.
Drinking Water Week, 2026, Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas only tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy. And whereas any measure of a successful society, low mortality rates, economic growth and diversity, productivity, and public safety are in some way related to access to safe water, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which future generations depend, and whereas each citizen of our town is called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution by the practices of water conservation, and to get involved in local water issues by getting to know their water. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of our town, which is him, and in accordance with the West Virginia Rivers Source Water Protection Communities Designation Program, I do hereby proclaim May 3 to 9, 2026 as Drinking Water Week. Date this 13th day of April 2026. Gregory Vaughn, Mayor.
But I can tell you, we have done it for the past 5 or 6 weeks.
And I just don't tell everybody with some of the town water.
And I
Sprinkle in with some town water.
Is it really town water?
I move to adopt the Drinking Water Proclamation as presented.
Second from Chris. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to adopt? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, thank you, Storm.
One thing.
Yes.
Do you want to read it again?
Well, just to make sure that spell check didn't change, mortality to morality.
It did.
So I don't believe it's supposed to be low morality.
It's old timey.
I think it should be low mortality, and since you already accepted that, maybe.
Wow. I move to alter the proclamation, substituting the word mortality for morality. Now you're gonna make me copy and paste this grid.
This is forever preserved on video.
Or you can just add the word mortality and keep morality.
All right. Thank you, Storm, for that eloquent reading. Planning Commission, Zach, report.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. Last month, the Planning Commission chose to forego its standard regular Planning Commission meeting in favor of 2 meetings to get the comprehensive plan to you this month. So it's not really a Planning Commission report, and I know you have a long agenda, so I'm happy to jump ahead to part 2, which is the comprehensive plan. I sent this to y'all digitally, and we have physical copies available. But this, I have a copy here, the mayor has a copy, is the near final draft, as I mentioned in the email. This does need to go to public hearing that the Planning Commission is going to host at the end of the month. It's being posted in the newspaper per state regulation for the next 2 weeks, and on April 30th, 7 p.m. in this room, we'll have that public hearing. So based on comments that you have or the public has at that public hearing, some content in this document may still change. But our goal is to get this, the final version of this, to you in May, consideration for adoption. Since this is the first time the document has been here, I just want to make sure that I thank all members of the Planning Commission, both current and former, including Jesse Melton, our Vice President, Emily Eads, the Secretary, Paul Mayhew, who's our Mayor's designee, Joe Keaty, Amanda McDaniel, Michaela Zalecki, as well as previous members, including Chris Craig, Roberta B. Curry, Tim Weiscarver, Paul Thomas, and Ken Dill, who all worked on this in some fashion. And in way of introducing it, I'm just going to read part of the foreword that we agreed on as the Planning Commission, which is to say, this document is divided into 7 focus areas, each of which contain a short yet comprehensive background and a list of associated action items. The focus areas were selected based on the results of the Comprehensive Plan Open House, resident survey, stakeholder input, and state regulations regarding comprehensive plans. At the end of the document, there is an implementation matrix that ranks each suggested action item in terms of priority, high, medium, or low, and assigns one of 3 timeframes, including immediate, 1 to 2 years, midterm, 3 to 5 years, or long-term, 6 to 10 years. We've also included 3 appendices with additional supporting information, including the list of key stakeholders that we contacted, the results of the surveys we conducted, and the housing survey. We sincerely hope that this work is both useful to and regularly used by town leadership. We look forward to working together to ensure Harpers Ferry remains a peaceful and prosperous small town that serves as both a window into history and a gateway into the wild and wonderful state of West Virginia. And
Congratulations.
thank you. Here, next few weeks. I know it's a long document. We just got this to you, so feel free to take your time. The one thing Dave did suggest is the second document I sent today, which is an Excel version of that traceability matrix. One of those tabs is exactly what is at the end of this document. The other tab is the same information but rearranged in terms of priority. So you get your short-term high priority up front, and then it goes into long-term. And so this way, I think we did a pretty good job of parsing this so that over the next 10 years, there's activities to do. But what I will say is this document, being comprehensive, actually does include pretty much everything we've heard about at tonight's meeting already, including water, historic preservation, the First Zion Church project, dark skies as well. So
And morality issue.
If I could say also that, we have, the planning commission has done a tremendous amount of work, and this act has led on making this a usable document. It's not just a showpiece. It's something that this council and the next council and the next council and the next council can all use, as definitive goals and places to go, things to do. And I personally look forward to using it. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, and if there's any way we can make it more user-friendly, there's been a lot of debate at the Planning Commission about the exact formatting of this document, which is what has taken us so much time. I think what we've come up with is probably the best way forward. And we're all, the 7 of us on planning, are extremely familiar with every word and punctuation in here, so we're happy to talk about it. But yeah, just a collection of good ideas that
David,
helpful.
I didn't see what you sent out today, but is it, so the appendices are formatted in that document you sent? Because the back appendices were kind of like.
So I didn't touch the appendices today. I just took the implementation matrix, which even is a little format odd. Some of the formatting idiosyncrasies are partly because we sort of had to remake this document over the last month, but I think we've done a pretty good job. The appendices themselves were just the data we got from the land use clinic, and I added them in. We can work to reformat them. But the document today was specifically the implementation matrix. So that's all the action items we came up with, their priority, and potential stakeholders to work with.
I was going to ask, when it's approved, will this be like on our website?
The current one is.
Oh, the current one is? Okay.
And so our suggestion would be, or especially after we have the new website, would be to have this up there. And then also just, the high up view is that this is Planning Commission's recommendation. So in some sense, it's not legally binding. It is just a collection of the best ideas. So it's up to the town where this document lives. And
WVU also hosts a copy.
Okay.
They actually show up in the results before we do.
And if there's a few sections that might seem strange, the things that talk about where the nearest airport is or what our population density, some of those are required by the state. And so I should also thank the WVU Land Use Clinic and Christy DeMuth, who made sure that we crossed all T's and dotted all I's for the state in this document as well.
And I appreciate the history you put in it.
Yep. A lot of that was, we did some research and Christy did some research. So yeah, there's a lot of pictures, a lot of history. And the heart of the document is that matrix at the end. So if you want to just focus on a few pages, I think that starts on page 71. So.
Good. Thank you, Zach.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Jack, stay up there with the tree commission.
Yep.
Discussion action regarding Arbor Day proclamation.
One more proclamation. I don't have much of an intro to this, except the tree commission did vote to forward this to town council for consideration.
Wow, I don't know if I have 2 in me, but here we go. Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce erosion of our topsoil by wind and water, lowering our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town beautify our community, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, shade the folks getting in their 10,000 steps, and increase property values, not to mention morality. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, friends, provided they aren't invasive trees like Bradford pear or ailanthus, and friends, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Gregory Vaughn, Mayor of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, do hereby proclaim the 25th day of April 2026 as Arbor Day in the Corporation of Harpers Ferry. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees and to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated the 13th day of April in the year 2026, Gregory Vaughn, Mayor.
Thank you, Storm, once again. And by the way, what is a pirate's favorite day of the year?
I should also mention that the tree commission is receiving 2 trees that will be planted. At least one on the 25th for Arbor Day, and that's the one. It's a mussel tree planted by the Harper Cemetery at the end of Homo Street. The other is a type of oak, I don't remember specifically which, and that is slated to go on, I think it is Paper Street off of East Ridge, where we had a couple silver maples come down recently. Is that, I don't know if that's Columbia. I don't think it's Columbia. It's the next one over. And so it will fill in some of the tree space that was lost. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I move to adopt the Arbor Day proclamation as submitted.
Yes, second from Christian. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Opposed? 6-0. Patty, Parks and Rec Commission report, or Zach?
I can handle it. I don't have my notes for this, so I can go off the cuff. We had a few events. The Harpers Ferry Film Festival, which sold out, and we had to add more chairs at the Mather Training Center. So thank you to the Park Service for letting us host that event there. Very successful. We had the Easter egg hunt as well, just before Easter, Saturday. That, not that we keep, there weren't tickets for that, but I would call that one sold out as well. The gazebo was quite full of very eager kids. It took us an hour and a half, 2 hours to hide the eggs, and I timed it. They found them all in 12 minutes. Look for a larger park area to do it in the future. Music on Ridge will be in June 7th. First Saturday of June. Slated also to be on the lawn at Star College. So it's been a successful spot to have it.
Who's music? Who's music?
Sold out.
Is the main performance, and the Section 20 coming back from Frederick to open the show.
So Section 20 is based out of Frederick, and Sold Out is based out of Winchester, I believe. Stephen City. So somewhat local, positive music. Hopefully for good weather. If that one gets rained out, there is no rain. So it's been good the last few years, and we're hoping that streak holds.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Debbie, Treasurer's report.
Oh, while we do not have a proclamation, we do need to lay the levy. And I have it written over here in giant letters everywhere I look. So before we get into the report, the 21st of April, Tuesday, next Tuesday, we need to establish a time at this meeting, if we could, that at least a quorum can meet to lay the levy. And there will probably be a handful of other items on the agenda.
I actually got, I got on travel as of Friday. I'm leaving next week.
It's illegal for you to miss it.
I'll be there.
I can be there. Just let me know the time.
The rest of you, just pick a time so we just
Don't,
know.
I can't do the evening. I
Yeah,
gotta be in the day.
6 p.m. meeting.
I got a 7 p.m.
So,
meeting.
Can you go in the day?
Yes.
Anytime.
Do you have any
And so what time?
daytime? We're asking any daytime commitments.
Yeah, daytime.
Is good.
I think I had something later.
I'm okay. Any day.
Okay.
I mean, anytime.
So why don't you pick a time then? You're gonna do it.
So what are they good
So
at?
everybody's good pretty much any time during the day, not in the evening.
I have a 3:30
He has a
appointment.
3:30, so why don't we go for, do you wanna go 10 in the morning?
Yeah.
Be fine.
10?
Everybody okay with 10?
Hey, I already had that on my schedule. All right, yeah.
10 a.m., April
10
21.
a.m., 26.
You? Great. So. This month's financials close February, which is 8 months or 2/3 of the year. We're at revision 5 in general fund. Our operating income is 76%, expenses 72% as budgeted. In waterworks, we continue to see a steady level of metered billing that is under the projected budget. Therefore, as we come to revise that this month, that budget will be revised this month. We're going to implement a 10% reduction of income in that revision. Examining this trend in parallel with the operational changes that have occurred in the utility over the past 8 months has led us to believe that this adjustment is due to consistency and accuracy in the meter reading process that has changed since the beginning of the year. Given the timeline of the meter replacement project, which we will discuss momentarily, it seems appropriate to go ahead and make this adjustment now. In summary, for this month, the water billings are approximately 56% and overall income 59%, and expenses are also at 59% underneath the 2/3 mark for 8 months of the year. So when we go ahead and we drop it by 10%, those expenses should pretty much match right up. Okay, so any questions on what I just said? All right, invoices, we should have a list. Anything actual?
Storm, you want to go ahead?
Move to approve the financial reports.
There's a second from Chris. Discussion on approving financial reports. All those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, 6-0.
Right, so checks and invoices are here on the table. Anybody needs to see any of those? Anybody have any questions on what was on that list?
Questions, council? Storm?
Move to approve the invoices and purchases as submitted.
Is there a second? Second from Christian. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, 6-0.
So next thing is the WDA grant. The last portion of that project is the Gilbert Street alternate that has been added to the contract. The bond has been procured, the contract has been signed, and all the documents have been sent back to the engineer. They will be filing the conform documents that will be distributed to the appropriate parties, and then we will hold a pre-construction meeting and begin the scheduling of the project. So that should be within the coming weeks. Hopefully we'll get that scheduled. I won't say exactly when it'll happen, but should be relatively soon. Anything on that?
What is that?
Gilbert Street.
Yeah, I know where Gilbert Street is, but what's the project? Sorry.
This is the first distribution system project that was funded by the WDA. And everything has been done by TerraWorks so far, but we had extra monies and then we contracted with Greenridge to put in Gilbert Street. TerraWorks was gone.
Yeah, the shell game. Making the money match what we.
Yep. Okay. Water meter project. We have been holding regular progress meetings with our vendor. The progress meetings have familiarized us with our vendor's installation process and the technical and logistical hurdles that we need to overcome in order for installation to begin. Primarily what we're looking at is positioning and installing the collector towers that will gather and transmit radio signals from the meters. Establishing these positions for optimal collection across the utility district also includes gaining permission from the various stakeholders where positions are being considered, as well as National Park Commission with respect to historic view sheds. After that, we need to establish a power source to each position and service through the cell phone provider to transmit the signal. Our database, we learned requires some updating for the meter installation by the subcontractor in order for that work order to be generated. Once we provide a fully updated database, there will typically be a 3-week lead time for the subcontractor to deploy. So right now we need to fill in a few gaps in our database, provide the database that'll be scrubbed, approved, and then the subcontractor will be deployed. We do still have a little bit of meter preparation work that needs to be performed by Greenridge. And we need that list sent to Greenridge. Once the collector towers are up on the water tanks are in place and the signal transmission begins, we get our database to the contractor, then we can start to get a more clear schedule. And it is also our understanding that installation is going to occur in sections, so probably about a third of the utility at a time. There will be blocks that will be done. And then the more complex installations where we need to actually make changes to the meters themselves may occur after that, after those probably three installation sections. Okay, so anything that I can help you with, or Steve can help you with?
The database update that you mentioned, is that what we discussed earlier this week?
Yeah.
Is there a timeline on that?
Well, aside from, we also need it by the next billing, but you know, the sooner we can get it, the sooner it can be scrubbed and the sooner we can get it deployed. So we need it for billing also, but you know, if we can get it in the next week, that's all the better.
Who's driving that?
I think Steve's workforce has that. Yep.
You got it sorted? Kind of. All right.
So do we need to hire someone to do that?
No, it's work that.
Predominantly, verifying serial
And
numbers. Or assigning temporary serial numbers.
The subcontractor wants to know they're picking up the right meter.
Right.
And they want to record that.
The right
And
account.
some are very old and do not have numbers that are easily accessible. So we either need to identify and record them, tie them to the unit, or we need to assign. And so we have a plan for that. It's just going to require someone doing it.
So we can do that in a week, you think? What about and then power to collector towers? How long is that gonna take?
So I'll bet the tank's not a problem at all, because actually we have conduit that runs over to the VR and have access to power. No problem.
So that means what, in a week or?
That means, quite honestly, as soon as they run the cable, the fish the cable to the conduit, we'll just plug it into the outlet.
Right. And
so that's the same account that we have. Water department has 3 accounts. That's one of our. Right, so we just have to plug it into our existing one. So that was fine. The second one, it depends on. So we've got 2 collection sites. We are looking at a site. We need a site to get down into Lower Town. We did look at a site on Friday, and if we use that one, for the time being, to get going, we could actually plug into that site's electric power for the time being. If there were any delay from the power company to putting in swapping out their one cable. So we have an immediate sort of a short-term plan, if you will. So that should not be a gating item. That's good.
So
and the good news is, the meter contractor will proceed with just the water tower collector in place. That one can be secondary, but the park wants to sign off on both of them at the same time. So the full detail of how we're going to handle what happens on the second one needs to be completed in its plan and approved by the park before they're going to sign off on it. The vendor wants the full sign off. So we're kind of yoked, but then physically all we need is to get that collector up.
So how long will it take the park service to? Are they fast decision makers? Fair question, right?
I don't think it should take too long, because I think that with the tanks, they've already looked at that, and with the antennas mounted, and they said they could basically. I don't think that's going to have some fun. The one down here, we are going entirely inside the building. There is an easement on the property that says no antennas. The Park Service forces. However, in the spirit of that easement, it was really for conversation, but kind of given a little bit of a nod that probably shouldn't be that big a deal.
Don't they already have a wireless router in there?
What?
Don't they already have a wireless router in there with an antenna on it in the building?
I don't know.
I think they do.
Like that.
Right.
Mine looks a lot more like an antenna, and it's an easement, and I used to defend these easements.
And that's-
Or enforce these, not enforce them, but, this is an Appalachian National Scenic Trail easement that was sold to the federal government for good, money coming back to the organization who sold it. And, you have to follow the, terms of the agreement.
They will apparently also want to know about the plan to have the power attached to the side of the building, because that's also an issue the park will want to have purview over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just need to get that plan in place. Cell service, I ordered the cell service today, so that should be coming. So in theory, we should be able to turn it over to the vendor here within the next week or two.
David, if this becomes an unreasonable delay, I will personally get with the superintendent.
Okay.
Get this thing through.
Yeah. Are we replacing any meters now? Like low read
I have
meters?
a couple sitting on the shelf that if I find a dead meter, I, have to put it. So, yes.
We have lists of dead meters. We do have lists of dead meters.
We have a list of zero reading. And
Okay.
we've reviewed that, and, we have identified meters that has been locked off. I continue to work with Betty on
Okay.
these training. And actually take the meter out and run water and see if that was dead.
All right.
You're replacing it with the same style of meter that's currently, not the new ones. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you can't read the amount. Are we at risk at all for like power outage? Like how are our meters gonna?
So, they save everything. So if the power goes out to collectors, then, it just, when it is established within the communication, it will send what it currently is. Okay, so
Okay.
the risk is that if you're monitoring online, you will see, nothing at that point in time for reporting to you, but as soon as it connects again,
Back on.
the meter is not gonna lose its place.
Yeah.
And we're using the AT&T service that is connected sort of with FirstNet too for that piece of it. So that'll also help us maintain continuity.
And I'll just add one more with that. So the cell service, and the cell service is so a collector, two collectors can communicate with two collectors. The meters themselves connect down to the collector with no use of cell signal. So we only have to have two strong cell, at a location. One, would be very close to St. Peter's Church. The other one would be very close to the cell towers that are,
Already on the day.
Yeah.
Right. So hopefully the cell service is not going to be
An issue. Yeah.
an issue. We're not trying to be all in
All right.
Have any action for that in that first item, Debbie? Okay. Number 2, discussion action regarding water meter CDS project.
That's what we just talked about.
That's it. Yep.
So we're on 3 now.
And that one.
CDS.
Discussion action regarding CDS funding for future years.
Right, so 24 is the meter project we just talked about. 25, I skipped over for the whole nation. 26, which is over 11,000 feet of mains and service line upgrades, has been approved through the Appropriations Committee and the federal government. We met with Senator Capito's team, as the mayor mentioned. We're awaiting notification from the EPA to proceed. It is my hope that the training and certification process that we execute for the meter project, also governed by the EPA, will allow us to move right into this new project without a lot of extra training. And then that will make that go along faster. Fiscal 27 has been submitted to Congressman Riley Moore. It was denied. It has been submitted to Senator Capito and it will be submitted to Senator Justice once we are notified of that opportunity. And then we will continue to work with our engineers in the coming weeks to keep planning towards 28 and beyond. In 2 weeks. Okay.
Questions? All right, well, next discussion action, maintenance of mains contracting.
You have some invoices in the packet there that will cover the maintenance of mains works for the leaks that were we experienced about a month ago. Also, some of the work that was done to prepare and check water meter pits that we thought had problems. The only thing we have on deck for them is the new list of any repairs or concerns for meter pits, as I mentioned before.
I do not have this one.
Water plant.
Oh, sorry, no, I thought there was a motion tied to that.
No, there's not.
Okay. Yeah, so the water plant generator, it's one of the key components of the plant operations. And this is to provide it with regular servicing to ensure that it'll be operational when it's needed. Currently goes down, it just goes down. So it's much like the contract we have with, or not, but the arrangement we have with Green Ridge, and just staying ahead of it. So I move to approve the maintenance program for the water plant generator as proposed for $1,700 a year.
Your second, we have a second from Jesse. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? 6-0. Storm, you got the
yes. So the
BZA
funding request. This was a request from BZA to have training through the WVU Legal Land Clinic about the municipal government processes. This would be a subject matter expert. And one question we had in budget and finance, would this also be open to like members of the planning commission and the other bodies that are involved with it?
I think it should be. Yeah, it's good. Even town council members, people won't understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I move to approve $1,200 from fiscal year 26 funds for the training led by BZA from the WVU Land Clinic pending documentation.
or second on that, second from David. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? 6-0.
Sorry, I'm recording.
Discussion action regarding town grounds maintenance.
Yes. So this is a new process for the next 3 items. Rather than having a million small ones, we're bundling them up. You should have received the charts that were prepared by our finance officer to do that. I'll just describe what they are. If there are questions, we can talk about them. So there's under this one, new mulch for the gazebo park, Potomac Street Park, and Franklin Street parks, and that's a total of $2,690. Refreshing the hanging baskets in Lower Town, which is $400, and both of those would be out of 906 beautification. So I move to approve the town grounds maintenance items as submitted.
Second, Chris. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? 6-0.
Similarly, for town hall maintenance, and this will be the process going forward for this as well. It consists of parking lot striping here behind Town Hall and the Post Office. That is $4,000. There will be the light fixtures in front of Town Hall, which involves some concrete work, $3,150, and an elevator maintenance contract, which is $51 a month. And all of these are at a $440, either contracted services or building maintenance. So I move to approve the town hall maintenance items as submitted.
Or second, Jesse. Discussion. Christian?
No.
Oh, you're
I'm
ready.
I'm ready.
All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? 6-0.
And one Parks and Rec, same process. We gathered them all up into one basket, putting all of Easter eggs in there. That is one of them. Easter egg hunt, that's $225 from Forward through Economic Development. Earth Day, $85 out of Economic Development. And Music on the Ridge, which is out of 2 buckets. There's $3,100 out of 402 Economic Development and $3,715 out of 906, which in this case would be Arts and Entertainment Arts. I move to approve the Parks and Rec funding request as submitted.
Second, Chris, discussion. All in favor of the motion, opposed, 6-0. ORC, Chris.
Oh, sorry, one more item for Parks and Rec.
Sure.
So one, the Future Act requires a 25% deposit to commit to Music on the Ridge. Standard practice, in fact, it's usually 50%. So I moved to pay $550 as 25 deposit to Sold Out, SOU LED, to secure their performance for 2026 Music on the Ridge out of 906 Arts and Humanities.
Second, Chris, discussion. All those in favor, opposed, 6-0. Thank you, Storm.
One more thing before you go on is the church 26 funding.
Oh, yes. So lastly, this is something that was approved. We can't do this now. But there was fiscal year 26 funding for the Foundation for the First Zion Church that was part of what was allocated as part of fiscal year 26 budget. They requested that move to a different project, but it's still within the amount that had been assigned. So that is going to come up in May.
ORC, Chris, what did you all decide? Defer?
Yeah, ORC has a lot going on, but we have no drafts tonight. So we are waiting paperwork from Kevin. So I'll just give a report on some of the things outstanding. Basically, when we get the draft, we are ready for second reading of the change of job title to from
code to code
ordinance compliance officer to code enforcement officer. You saw the first reading of that last month, and we should be able to finish that, wrap that up next month. We've been working diligently on several other items, some of them big, some of them kind of pro forma. The item that we all sent to the Planning Commission on business usage, the setback for restaurants in the business district. We discussed that this past month, and we decided that the recommendation, if we pass the recommendation from the Planning Commission as it was, that there would still be one long-term business in the business district that did not satisfy that ordinance. So we're going to get around that by setting a date at the passage of the first reading, so that anything grandfathered in before that does not have to satisfy that setback requirement. Okay.
So the recommendation is what, to move from 25 to another?
Well, the Planning Commission recommended a change. The ordinance, the way it reads now, is 25 feet to the property line, and Planning Commission was saying to a residence within the residential district, and still there would be one long-term business that would not satisfy that. So, the third zoning category that came out of the Planning Commission's work on the comprehensive plan, we have that pretty much ready to go for first reading as soon as the draft is completed. The historic and solicitation signage, mainly historic signage. This was a request from the BZA to provide some ordinance guidance on this issue. Things such as historical and possibly natural kiosks in the town, and even monuments going up. There's really no guidance on that. So we've been working pretty diligently on that, and I think we've had some disagreement back and forth, compromises within the ORC, and we should have that ready to present to you for first reading next month. That'll be a little more complicated, so hopefully you'll have some time to look it over. Nomination, appointment, and terms of town boards, commissions, and committees. This is something that came from the last council. Has a long history, and what we're basically trying to do is kind of standardize both the terms of all of the committees and commissions in town to 3 years, and to kind of standardize the nomination and appointment process among all the committees. So that's mainly a lot of work for Kevin to grab about 6 different ordinances and work on those. But we have the recommendations ready, and I don't know whether we'll have that ready for next month or not, but coming soon. And then finally, the one that the town office and our CEO presented to us about expiration of permitting past the 1-year extension that the ordinances presently allow. There have been a few problems with property owners who just aren't really ready after that 1-year extension. So we're trying to come up with a process that allows for an extension when it is warranted, but also to add a little bit of structure to that, so it's not ending up in an endless, never-ending story. So expect to see that, I believe, next month as well for first reading.
Thank you, Chris. David, do you have anything?
IOC. I just got some. I just have collected enough information to start doing some work on job descriptions, and then got those today or yesterday. So I'll set up some meetings this next month, and hopefully have something to report back to you next month.
Unfinished business discussion action regarding update on the Columbia Street Gate beautification project. If you recall, this was an issue that Christian put on the agenda January, February.
Yeah.
And this council directed me to get with the project manager and come up with a couple of things. And prior to doing that, I met with Christian for about an hour or so, 2 hours, and came up with some specific issues, or not issues, I don't want to use that term, specific suggestions to make to Laurel to improve possibly the entranceway going up Columbia Street. And let me just go over a couple of them. And what the objective that Christian and I were looking at was really a way to promote the hotel, so to speak, to make it more inviting looking as you're walking down Washington Street on the sidewalk, because it's not a very inviting entrance. Christian and I talked about the possibility of rerouting a section of the fencing to sort of kind of go behind the barber shop, removing some of the in-your-face signs that's on the chain link fence, putting some nice pavers going from Washington Street to the gate area, making the gate area look something more than going into an industrial center in Hoboken. Talked about Yeah, since we know that there's a pause on the hotel on the construction, and we know that because Laurel briefed us on that. We felt it was important. We don't know how long the pause is going to be. We have no idea, but we felt it was important to get the message to Swan to try to do something to enhance the appearance. I subsequently had a private discussion, not in a lot of detail because we were both rushed. We're going to set up a meeting with Christian and myself and Laurel to go over some of the specifics here and see if we can get a commitment from the property owner to just enhance the entire appearance of that area. So that's where we are with that. Any questions on that, Jesse?
So, the TDD now appears to have a new resident. And the gate is no longer being opened consistently or reliably. Is that going to remain that way?
No, I did not know that. Every time I go by it, I see it open during the day. So if that's happening, I need to know about it. I'll get that taken care of.
Even by new resident.
Someone has moved into the old Stan Hagen house.
Oh.
Full time.
Is there?
I thought it was JR was doing the opening it.
No, that's it's not consistent or reliable.
I need to do that. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I'll get that taken care of, Jesse.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, discussion action regarding town employee driver policy. You should have the latest draft. Took the comments that y'all made on the first one, and they principally involve having unauthorized passengers prohibited. What is the word?
Is prohibited.
Prohibiting that. And then the other consistent comment that I got was approval, acknowledgement from an employee that we're going to request DMV records at any time. So I worked that in there. I don't know if you're not comfortable tonight, you can comment further and we can see where we want to go, or we can put this on the floor. Chris?
I move to accept it as amended.
Is there a second on the motion? Second, Jesse, discussion? All in favor of motion? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thanks. New business, discussion action regarding solicitation of NPS regarding documenting the historic significance of the Weaver Gillison House. Christian, I believe this is you.
Yes. Last month, the end of the month, actually the day the fire was in Bolivar Heights, I was walking down towards the Snail and ran into Superintendent Tanya Gossett. And we were right in front of the building, and we talked about it. And she said that nobody's actually asked the park for any assistance regarding that building. And said if we would formally ask, they may be able to help us out with, putting some time and effort into evaluating the building. So
I've talked with Jamila Fleet, and I can talk with her and let her know that.
Well, we could do the letter here. It's up to the county. It's, Greg can do a brief letter. And
yeah, go ahead and put something on the floor and make it official.
Yeah, I'll do it. I move that the mayor writes a letter to the Superintendent Tanya Gossett at the National Park Service to request help with the Weaver Gillison House.
Second.
And she didn't promise anything. You promised nothing. This is next. It's going. Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Has the family did they know about this, or?
Well, the nonprofit is working directly with the family.
So I think it's a valid question, because if this happens, is that changing what options the family might have to do something with the property? If the Park Service has gotten involved and they document all this wonderful history, is that going to impact the family on what they could do with it?
I think it would be a big help. because they are looking to restore its historical nature, and they would like it to be either a museum, or they want to tell the story.
So this would potentially improve opportunities for funding for them.
Absolutely.
I got no problem with it, but I think we should tell.
We should copy them on the letter.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Got an address.
And I can give you the contact information for Jamila.
Okay, so what do you want me to add in the letter?
Just requesting help from the park.
Yeah, I know that. What David just said.
Just copy the Weaver Gillison heirs. Whoever the spokesperson is just kind of. Okay.
Thank you for this assignment, Christian. I appreciate that. I wanted to write the letter.
Are we gonna vote on?
You're gonna steer it.
Yeah. I know, we, no more discussion, other discussion on the motion. There was the motion. Opposed, 6-0. All right, thank you, Christian.
You're welcome.
All right, B, discussion action regarding collapse structure. Jesse?
Yep. So this concerns a collapse structure, which I've informed you all about privately about the specific structure, and it has fallen onto a neighbor's property. The code enforcement officer has informed the property owner that some sort of corrective action is required. The property owner has taken no voluntary action. So we're going to move that forward. And the motion I'm going to make is not asking for anything extraordinary. It's just to ensure that our ordinances are and processes are executed without this matter having to come up several more times to town council. It can just be addressed with the power already given to the mayor and the code enforcement officer. So I'll move that the code enforcement officer and the mayor exercise their plenary authority to execute the ordinance compliance process in the case of the collapsed outbuilding known to the relevant parties forthwith, with no further deliberation, action, or consent required of town council.
You're a second on the motion. Second, Chris, discussion.
This is Jim Jenkins' house. Sorry. Somebody, it may not.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carry 6-0.
Can you email me that motion?
What?
Can you email me?
Yes.
It's long. I have plenty. My brain turned off.
Yeah.
All right, C, discussion action on establishing a field office in Suite 101.
Yeah. So this item addresses the need of frontline town staff for occasional office space, whether it's Jacob with the water department or the code enforcement officer, or just somebody in that office needs to have a private conversation. They need to have office space to do that. The agenda item says Suite 101, but the goal here is function, not location. So it doesn't really matter where it is, as long as a space is provided for those frontline workers. There is a plan to modify the space, the main space upstairs, but there is a current need for a field office, and this motion will direct that to happen and provide up to $500 for the acquisition of miscellaneous furnishings and accessories for the field office that can be reused once the renovations in the main part of the building are complete. So I move that a field office for frontline employees be established somewhere inside 1000 Washington Street, and for up to $500 to be used to provision the space with necessary furnishings and supplies.
Is there a second on the motion? Second, David. Discussion. Read that motion again. There was a word that confused me. I think it was your Tennessee.
So I move that a field office for frontline employees.
What's the front line?
Frontline is the generic term for people in the field who are customer facing that do not have a designated office space. I actually had to look that up. I didn't know that. So, and that is different from a first responder who is typically a disaster or an emergency response person.
Okay, so how do you see this office working?
Well, I feel like that's a trick question.
Who's the final say? Who said can't go? Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
First come, first serve, and
Yeah, so I think, it's a very occasional use space. I do not foresee a traffic jam of potential users. I think most of the recurring users, they tend to operate on a fairly fixed schedule. So I don't see a problem there. I do know, I don't know what's behind that door right there, but I know that it's not a person. So there is an opportunity for that space. There is, obviously Suite 101, and then eventually there will be over there, and it could be just cubicle walls over there.
Okay.
It's not, I did not dig down into the decorating aspect of it. It's just more I figured we could sort that out.
Okay. Other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? 6-0. Or David, were you okay?
I was okay.
Oh, okay.
I was just slow.
Just slow going up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's getting late. Discussion action regarding discussion on items for NPS Gateway Communities meeting. Jess?
Yeah. So I sent out a note to all the town council members that requesting information for things that they wanted to include on the next meeting of the with the Park Service, the Gateway Community stuff. And I think that'll be Mr. Andrew Lee back there, who I've already spoken to about it. So once we get the agenda items sorted out, I'll send that to him. We'll schedule the meeting. So far, the generic top line items are bicycle parking and accommodation, the ongoing wireless connectivity, cell service. There is the bus stop that PanTran wants to, or bus, is it a bus stop or bus shelter?
Shelter.
Yeah, that they want to put somewhere, and we have to figure out a place for that. We don't know if there's a place down there. And then, were you talking about Bakerton Road or the
Quigley Road?
And then who has the responsibility for plowing Quigley Road, Lake Quigley Road? Those are the items that I currently have.
Another one, this is something that we had started on, is stormwater remediation, just to have that.
All right.
Re-up that.
All right. So is there nothing else I can follow up with?
Jesse, maybe you said it and I missed it, but the train station issues, I think I had emailed you on that, but
it was the bicycle.
Well, things that go beyond the big project that Amtrak is underway on, just upkeep and security on the tunnel,
okay,
the pedestrian passageway, and maybe some possible discussion of open hours at the train station.
All right. So what I will do is with those items, then I've added that, is I will circle back with all you guys and get details of those things, and then send those on to Andrew and sort that out with the meeting, and I'll keep you guys posted on what we find.
Good. Thanks for following up on that, Jess. Finally, anything more on that? Okay. Discussion action regarding public safety and law enforcement policy. Storm?
Yeah, so this is actually picking up on the discussion we had where we ended up writing the letter to the West Virginia legislature where they were looking to compel municipalities to collaborate with ICE with the 287G program. And so I sent a draft around that was based on what Christian had sent around when we last talked about it. It's a little more streamlined, and it's really, it's business as usual. We have already declined to participate. So it's stating that and just reiterating that we are, of course, always going to follow, we're committed to West Virginia state law and also the constitutional rights of all people. So I can read it. I would not read it in a silly voice.
Well, everybody had it.
Yeah, I mean, I move that we accept this resolution as submitted.
Storm, were you, or was it Chris and I just discussing before the meeting about getting it to Ken first.
It should absolutely be reviewed by the town attorney before we formally sign.
You can move, Jesse, we can recommend approval
Right.
based on
Pending.
pending
Pending legal review.
review.
So do I need to officially?
Yeah,
amend
so
that?
let's
So,
do that.
I amend my initial motion to be, a vote that we, I move that we, adopt the resolution as submitted pending pending review by legal counsel.
Is there a second on that motion? Second, Chris, discussion? All those in favor of that motion? Opposed, 6-0. And now the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, yeah. That was underwater.
Hold that.
Oh, that was the hiring thing that is not happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they prepared it. I don't
Yeah.
think they-
Okay, so Chris made a motion to adjourn and David second. All those in favor of the journey? Opposed, we're adjourned at 8:49 PM.